Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Okay. After Nicole was done speaking, she went back to her desk and continued working. Kelly glanced at Harvey and flashed him a smile while giving him a thumbs up. In return, he did the same, before centering his focus on the task at hand. Just like that, the office fell silent, with nobody getting bored enough to doze off. All that moved were the silhouettes of the three hard-working individuals. Nicole was thinking about what to write next, when Harvey's voice sounded out and startled her. "Harvey Ellison, do you know that speaking that loudly in such a sudden way can scare others?" Nicole covered her chest with her hands and looked at Harvey with a glare. Harvey, realizing that his voice had frightened them, looked at Nicole with embarrassment. Nicole paused for a moment, before she looked at Harvey and asked, "Tell me, what is the matter?" "There is something that I don't understand here. Can you come over and explain it to me?" Harvey asked. Although he understood most of it, there was a section that had left him stumped. Thus, he took this as an opportunity to ask Nicole. "It would be great if she could come and give me some assistance," he thought. Nicole saw that Harvey was stuck, and without hesitation, she stood up and walked toward him. "Where?" Nicole looked at the screen and asked him. "I don't fully understand the meaning of this paragraph." Harvey pointed at a line of codes on the screen. In response, Nicole leaned over, her eyes fixed on the screen. Her hair hung down in front, and Harvey caught a whiff of the fragrance, making him feel as though he was intoxicated. "This section indicates that you should divide it into two parts from here," Nicole explained. "Oh, I see," Harvey muttered, understanding it. "Is there anything else you don't understand?" Nicole turned to look at Harvey. The moment she turned her head, her flowing hair brushed against his face, causing his heart to skip a beat. This was the first time he had touched her hair. He wanted to hold her tight in his arms. "No, there's nothing else." Harvey looked into Nicole's eyes. "Continue working on it, then. Ask me if you have any questions." Nicole patted him on the shoulder and went back to her seat. In a complete daze now, Harvey continued eyeing her, maintaining his gaze as she returned to her seat. The second she had sat down, she noticed that a pair of eyes were staring at her. She raised her head and looked at him. Harvey quickly averted his gaze and kept his eyes fixed on the computer, pretending as if he was working hard. Seeing this, her lips twitched and she went back to work. Concluding that Nicole had not noticed that he was staring, he breathed a muffled sigh of relief and continued his work. Time flew, and soon after, the sun began to set. Kelly stood up to stretch her muscles, and that was when she looked at Nicole and asked, "Ms. Riddle, do you want a cup of coffee?" "Sure." Nicole raised her head and glanced at Kelly, before going back to her task. After that, Kelly looked at Harvey and asked, "Mr. Harvey, would you like a cup of coffee?" "Yes, but I'll make it myself." Harvey saved the file, got up, and went to the pantry with Kelly. Kelly was about to make coffee for Nicole when Harvey stopped her. "Are you going to make coffee for Nicole?" "Yeah, what's the matter?" Kelly looked at Harvey with a slight frown. "You can make your own," he said. "I'll make hers." The coffee he had made for Nicole in the morning was stolen by Ike, and with Ike not being here at this moment, he wanted to make another cup for Nicole. "Oh," she uttered. Kelly had a hunch that Harvey seemed to be interested in Nicole. She was a little disappointed, but she also understood that Nicole had the figure, the brains, and the charm to make others fall head over heels for her. "If I was a man, I would definitely like Nicole too." As Harvey stirred the coffee with a spoon in his hand, the image of Nicole leaning over in front of him appeared in his mind's eye. "Her curves are perfect, and I think I can still smell the fragrance of her lovely hair," he thought. Kelly was already drinking her coffee while Harvey was still stirring his in a daze. Kelly stared at him in confusion and could not help but offer him a reminder. "Mr. Harvey, the coffee is done, isn't it?" Kelly's voice brought him back to reality. "Oh yeah." Harvey took the coffee that he had brewed and drank it directly, forgetting that it was for Nicole. Seeing that, Kelly's eyes widened and she asked, "Mr. Harvey, isn't this cup for Miss Riddle?" Harvey's hand froze as he held the cup to his mouth. "Oh no," he thought. Why did I even drink from the cup that I had made for her? What am I going to do now? Right. Harvey spun around and looked at Kelly with a smile. This cup of coffee has too much milk, so I won't be giving it to Nicole. I'll make another for her right away. If you're in a hurry, you can head back first. As he said that, he began making another cup and glanced at Kelly, who was standing beside him. Remember not to add too much milk again. I'll head back first, Kelly said, and made her way back to the office. Where's mine? Nicole asked as she saw Kelly walking in without any coffee for her. Mr. Harvey has it. He's making it for you. Kelly smiled and walked back to her seat. All right then. After Kelly had left, Harvey breathed a sigh of relief. Was I acting weird? Did she see that? I can't be thinking too much about it now. Nicole is still waiting for her cup. Harvey hurriedly made the coffee and took it to the office. Nicole, this is for you. I didn't mean to keep you waiting. Harvey looked at her with warm eyes. You didn't poison it, did you? After all, you've been there for a while. Nicole narrowed her eyes, teasing him. Stop with the hogwash. If you really did. No, you better not drink it then. I can't be held responsible if anything happens. Harvey reached out to grab the coffee in Nicole's hand. You fell for it. I'm just messing with you. Nicole moved away, preventing him from taking her cup. Don't you make jokes like these anymore. Harvey gave her a serious stare and returned to his seat to continue working. What is going on? He became a different person after he went out to make me this cup of coffee, Nicole thought. Kelly, did he meet Ike out there? Nicole stood up and whispered to her. As far as what I saw was concerned, no. I didn't see Mr. Ike when I was there. I'm not sure about what happened after I had left, Kelly whispered back. That's strange. Why isn't he even able to take a joke anymore? Nicole glanced at Harvey, unable to wrap her head around the situation. Kelly stood up and muttered to Nicole in a low voice, when we were making coffee, the first cup was obviously made for you. I'm not sure why, but Mr. Ellison was there stirring your coffee in a daze for a long time. I'm not sure what he was thinking about. Nicole thought, how can this be? Nicole looked at Harvey again, and found that he was taking sneak peeks at her, but when he saw her looking at him, he immediately turned around, pretending to be working again. He's peeking at me? Nicole thought, becoming even more curious about Harvey's unusual behavior. Something must have triggered that, right? Kelly shook her head, sat down, and continued working. Nicole narrowed her eyes and looked at Harvey, and as she sat down slowly, she pondered, he doesn't seem to be having any problems. Forget it. What happened to him has nothing to do with me. I should focus on my work. Then, she went back to work, taking sips from her cup every now and again. As time flew by, the sky darkened, and when Nicole looked at where Harvey was sitting, he was already gone. Where did he go? Kelly, did you see Harvey when he went out? Nicole asked. No, I didn't see him. Kelly raised her head when she heard Nicole's voice. She had been working all this while, and so, she had not noticed that Harvey was not in the office anymore. It was then that Harvey came sauntering in with some cakes in hand. Take a break and have a slice of cake. Harvey looked at Nicole and Kelly with a smile, after which he placed it down on Nicole's desk. You brought cakes for us? Nicole stared at Harvey, her eyes wide. Before this, he made me coffee because he wanted some, she thought. It was a matter of convenience, and I doubt he really cared anyway. How is he so caring, all of a sudden? Harvey knew that Nicole did not like him, and he was worried that Nicole would think that he was going an extra mile to show her that he cared, so he denied it. Oh, I was going to go make myself more coffee, and I saw some cakes, so I took some back for the two of you to help with the fatigue. Nicole heaved a sigh of relief upon hearing his explanation. I was just beginning to think that you underwent a 180-degree shift in personality, but as it turns out, it is just a matter of convenience. Thanks anyway. Then, Nicole picked a slice of cake up and handed it to Kelly. Thanks. Nicole picked up another slice of cake and ate it happily. I guess the sugar does help with the fatigue. Harvey grinned with unmistakable pride and satisfaction the instant he saw that Nicole was eating happily. "Nicole, it's getting dark, so should we get off work too?" Harvey looked at her and asked. "You can leave any time you want," Nicole said. "I'm not just talking about me," Harvey replied. "I'm talking about you too. I've still got one last part to take care of. I'll get off work after I'm done dealing with it." Nicole looked at him. "In that case, I'll wait for you to finish and get off work together," he said. "After all, there is one part left to be completed." Harvey just wanted to be right next to her. He clicked on the file he had closed and continued working. The three of them then got busy in the office for another hour before Nicole turned the computer off and stood up to stretch her muscles. "Time to get off work," Nicole said. Harvey looked at Nicole. "Okay, I'll shut the computer down right away." "Me too." Kelly turned her desktop off as well and stood up. "Well, everyone has worked hard today, especially Mr. Ellison here." Nicole looked at Harvey with a smile on her face. Harvey responded in kind and said, "The same goes for you." Soon after, the trio left the building together without bumping into Ike, who had to leave early today due to personal reasons. In the parking lot outside the R&D lab, Jared's car was already waiting there. Spotting Nicole's silhouette as she exited the building, he got off his car and stood in front of it, with the beams from his headlights casting a long shadow of him. From where Nicole was standing, Jared looked like he was glowing. Nicole quickly walked up to Jared. "So you know how to turn the car lights on today?" "Yes, otherwise you'd think that I didn't come to pick you up," Jared said. "But it seems that the folks with cars have yet to get off work today." Jared looked behind Nicole, seeing only Harvey and Kelly. "Are you talking about Ike?" Nicole narrowed her eyes and looked at Jared. Jared flashed her a smile and kept mum. As of now, Harvey and Kelly had already walked up to Jared. "Mr. Johnston, I'm afraid you will be sending 2 more people home today," Harvey said to Jared. "No problem, but I'll have to make you wait for a little while," Jared said, not intending to let Harvey ride in the same car as them. Harvey did not understand what he had meant, so he looked at Jared. What did he mean when he said that? Harvey watched as Jared opened the door for Nicole, who entered. Then, Jared looked back at Harvey and Kelly and said, "There will be another car coming to pick you up soon." After that, he got into the car and left, leaving Harvey and Kelly standing there in the parking lot. "Mr. Harvey, Mr. Johnston probably meant that he will be sending another car to pick us up, right?" Kelly looked at Harvey. "Yeah. Then let's wait." Harvey watched as Jared drove away. "You really do know how to screw around, Jared Johnston. Do you really think that I'd need to wait for you to send a car my way?" Harvey took out his phone and made a call. After a while, a car approached them from the distance and pulled up in front of Harvey. The driver then got out and opened the car door for Harvey. Harvey climbed in and looked at Kelly. "Get in the car." Kelly entered through the back and sat still. As they drove on, they went past the car that Jared had sent. Kelly glanced back, looked at Harvey, and asked, "Mr. Harvey, a car just stopped in the parking lot." "Yeah. It's the car that Jared had sent." "Then whose car are we riding in?" Kelly looked at Harvey with her brows raised. "Mine," Harvey uttered as he stared into the distance blankly. "Yours? But thought you said you don't have a car." Kelly looked at Harvey in surprise. Harvey maintained his silence and closed his eyes. Seeing this, Kelly decided not to bother him anymore. Nicole looked at Jared and asked, "Have you arranged a car for them?" "Yeah. That's good then." It was then that Jared's phone rang, prompting him to answer the call. "Mr. Johnston, the people you've asked me to pick up were not around." "It's okay if you couldn't pick them up. Don't worry about it." Jared hung, unamused. Nicole overheard the conversation, looked at Jared and asked, "What did you mean when you said that it's okay if the driver couldn't pick them up?" "He probably got himself a ride." Jared looked at Nicole and explained to her. "Yeah, as long as can return home," Nicole said, not bothering to think about Harvey. Soon after, their car pulled up at the entrance of the hotel, whereupon Jared took Nicole's hand and walked in. In the room, Jared had prepared a bathtub filled with warm water for Nicole. "The water has been filled," he said. "Take a bath and relax." Nicole looked at Jared with her brows furrowed. "What's the occasion? Why did you fill the tub for me? Is this some sort of conspiracy?" The corners of his mouth lifted and he broke into a chuckle. "What kind of conspiracy do you think I can pull off with a tub of water? If you don't want it, I'll enjoy it myself." Jared was about to strip his clothes off when Nicole stepped in. "Stop. How can I possibly pass on this? Mr. Johnston himself had personally filled up my bath. I must have been the first to experience this. Even if this ends up being my undoing, I'd still get in thinking that I've got nothing to worry about." After Nicole was done speaking, she walked into the bathroom, took her clothes off, and dipped her feet into the water. "The temperature is just right," she remarked. Nicole soaked herself in the water and closed her eyes. After a while, she opened her eyes and looked around to find that her phone was not there. If it was, she would have been able to play some music, which would further enhance the ambience. "Jared, have you seen my phone?" Nicole called out. "I saw it." Jared responded from outside the bathroom. "Can you bring it in for me?" she asked. The thumping of Jared's footfalls followed, and soon, he was at the door knocking. "I'm coming in." Nicole scrambled to hide her figure in the water, but she could not, as it was transparent without a layering of soap on top. Jared came right toward Nicole, but she quickly stopped him in his tracks. "Don't come any closer." "But how am I supposed to hand you the phone?" Jared looked into her eyes without squinting. Nicole looked around and knew he was right. "Try closing your eyes and slowly make your way over here." Jared breathed a sigh of resignation. "Is there anything else that I haven't seen before? You know, there's no need for you to be this prudish." "You?" Nicole's face turned bright red. "No, I'm not allowing that. Come in and do as I've said." Okay. Jared closed his eyes and inched his way forward. "Is this all right?" Jared asked as he moved closer. "Just a little more," Nicole instructed, after which he took a few steps forward. "Can you get a hold of it now?" "Yeah, you may hold it out in front of you," Nicole replied. Jared slowly handed the phone to her, and Nicole reached out to grab it. "I got it, thanks." "All right." Jared withdrew his hand, turned around and opened his eyes. Then, he stepped out of the bathroom, while Nicole turned her phone on and played some music the second Jared closed the door. "She really knows how to enjoy herself," Jared murmured to himself as he left. About 30 minutes later, Nicole came out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel as she went into the bedroom. There, Jared was already lying on the bed, fast asleep. He fell asleep? Nicole shot him a glance with her brows furrowed. Then, she closed the door and went to the living room. She turned the TV on and was about to find a movie to watch when her phone suddenly rang. Nicole picked it up and saw that it was Zeke Guzman calling. "Zeke, what's so important that you're calling me at this hour?" Nicole asked. "Sorry, I forgot that it's pretty late there," Zeke replied. "I've found some clues about the person you've ordered me to investigate." "What clues?" Nicole asked at once. Nicole had spoken to Jared about this before. Although Jared had not asked her aid in this investigation concerning Henry Johnston, she knew that his methods would be too time-consuming. Hence, she had asked Zeke to help her out. "I see. Well, thanks. Do keep me posted whenever you get any updates about the case." Nicole hung up after she was done speaking. Nicole lifted her head and saw Jared's silhouette in the living room, startling her. "When did you get here? Who called?" Jared came over and sat beside her. "Zeke. He's got news on Henry," Nicole said, and proceeded to tell Jared about the information she had gotten from Zeke. Jared's eyes lit up as he looked at Nicole and said, "Did you hire someone to investigate him?" "Yeah. Where is he?" he asked, as Henry's whereabouts were what Jared wanted to know, above everything else. "Roca Este," Nicole said these two words with complete clarity. "Roca Este," Jared murmured, staring at the TV and lost in thought. The next day, the weather was fine as Jared and Nicole sat, eating in the dining room. "I'm going to fly home today," Jared said. You must take care of yourself here. If you're bored, you can get Kelly to come over and keep you company, but not Harvey. I don't want you getting involved with him, Jared instructed, not wanting Harvey to be anywhere near Nicole. Don't you worry, Nicole replied. I know what to do. When are you going to come back? Nicole looked at him, betraying the unwillingness to let him go. What's up? I haven't left and you're already missing me. Jared looked at Nicole with a smirk. No, I just wanted to know so that I can get others to leave before you arrive, Nicole said, just to get a rise out of him. It seems that you still have the temerity to harbor thoughts such as these. Jared went up to her and pinched her on the chin. Nicole looked at him with a smile. I don't, but I cannot guarantee that there won't be any. In that case, I'll have to send someone over to guard you 24/7, and I'll fly over at once if something occurs. Jared looked into her eyes with burning passion and made out with her, prompting her to reciprocate. After a moment, he released her, gave her a loving stare and said, If Grandpa is okay, I will come back to pay you a visit again. Okay. Nicole nodded. Are you flying off soon? Yeah. Let me send you off. A smile appeared on the corner of Jared's lips. Okay. As they took a slow drive from the hotel to the airport, Nicole leaned against Jared's arms. Remember to text me when you have landed safely. Okay, I will. Well, no one is going to pick you up after you get off work today. Perhaps you'll have to ride home in someone else's car, Jared said in a figurative way. Don't worry, she said. Just leave your car here. I can drive it around. Nicole then shot him a glance at him and thought, what a cheapskate. Jared looked at her and flashed her a smile without saying a word. Once they had pulled up outside the airport, Nicole accompanied him to the security terminals. Go home and be careful when you're driving, Jared advised while keeping his eyes locked on Nicole. Yeah, and remember to tell me once you have landed. Bye. Jared waved and vanished into the security checkpoint with Max. Nicole then walked out of the airport and drove Jared's car to the R&D lab. When she had reached the office, she saw that both Harvey and Kelly were already working. Upon noticing her, Harvey came up to her and greeted her, You're late today. Oh, I went to the airport earlier. Harvey, did you hire a personal chauffeur yesterday? Nicole asked in a casual way. Yeah, Mr. Johnston's driver took a long time, so I called myself another. I was thinking that I should return home as early as possible to catch some rest. Harvey said, feeling that it was not necessary to tell her the truth about such a trivial matter. Nicole did not wish to expose him either, so she looked at him and sat down. Not long after Nicole had begun working, Ike walked in. Nicole, what do you want me to do? Harvey saw Ike walking in and paused as he kept his eyes on him. You came here in a rush. Take a seat for a bit. I'll be done in a second. Nicole looked at Ike and motioned for him to sit on the chair and wait. Okay. Ike turned around and sat down in a chair. It was then that he noticed that Harvey was looking at him. How can I help you, Mr. Ellison? Nothing. Harvey turned around and continued to do his work the moment he noticed that Ike was sitting far away from Nicole. Ike, seeing that Harvey was also busy in front of the computer, walked over curiously. Are you sorting the data out, Mr. Ellison? Yeah. Harvey uttered, refusing to elaborate further, and continued working. Ike watched him for a while and noticed that there was an error. He wanted to tell Harvey about it, but once he was reminded of Harvey's character, he chose to maintain his silence. Come here, Nicole beckoned, prompting Ike to approach her. The current design is like this. Nicole pointed at the screen, and Ike listened intently. Harvey, on the other hand, had been keeping an eye on the distance between Ike and Nicole. If he gets any closer to Nicole, I will not hesitate to make some noise to let her know about it. Just when Ike was about to bump into Nicole, Harvey suddenly ducked. This caused Nicole and Ike to look at him at the same time. What are you doing? Nicole stared at him with her brows raised and asked. It's nothing. It's just that my feet are numb. Harvey casually found an excuse to justify his weird behavior. Then Nicole and Ike continued their discussion. Ike pointed at the screen, after which he placed his hand on the back of Nicole's chair. His fingers grazed Nicole's back. As she had felt it, she leaned forward by a little bit. Seeing that Nicole had moved forward, Harvey kept silent and did not react. "Okay, I'll go back and make the preparations at once. You can find me in the R&D department with the data later," Ike said, and left the office. Nicole then looked at Harvey and asked, "How's the sorting coming along?" Harvey heard Nicole's inquiry and replied, "There is still a bit left for me to sort out." "Okay, you better speed up," she said. "I must bring it to the R&D department later on." "All right." Harvey quickened his hand movements after he had responded to her, while Nicole continued to immerse herself in her work. After 30 minutes, Nicole completed the final bit of her work and exported it to the hard disk at once. "Harvey, have you finished sorting the data out?" Nicole asked while perusing her documents. "Yeah, it's done." "Export it to the hard drive." "Okay." Nicole brought Harvey along to the R&D department. After swiping her access card to gain access, she entered the conference room that Ike had prepared. "Are you ready?" Nicole looked at Ike and asked. "All set." Ike turned the computer on and nodded at her. Nicole walked over and sat in front of the computer. She plugged the disk into the port and waited as the system began to read the data. They watched as the progress bar got longer and longer, and finally, they heard a ding, revealing that the learning process was successful. Nicole opened the file, as well as the dataset that Harvey had compiled, after which she operated the computer to demonstrate what she had created. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the screen in front of Nicole. Then, it began to move and the chip manufacturing process was soon being displayed on the screen. All of a sudden, a dialog box popped up in the middle of screen, stating that there was a data error. The people present in the room became nervous, with Nicole scrambling to search for the error at once. After several minutes spent on skimming through the codes, she found that there was a problem with one of the datasets compiled by Harvey. "Harvey, did you not notice anything peculiar when you were sorting the data out?" Nicole asked. "Is there a problem?" Harvey immediately leaned over and examined the data on the computer. "Over here." Nicole pointed with her index finger. "You know what? Forget it. Just watch how I do it." After Nicole had uttered the last word, she darted her fingers across the keyboard as quickly as she could to rectify the mistakes made by Harvey. Ike looked at Harvey. Had Harvey not come off as a jerk, Ike would have informed him of the mistake there and then. After Nicole had pointed it out, Harvey realized that the error was entirely avoidable. Perhaps he was just distracted because Ike was in the office, causing him to overlook the inaccuracies. "It's done. Let's try again." Nicole restarted the program and centered her gaze on the screen. As expected, it worked according to plan and everything turned out just as they had wanted. "This is my first time seeing such a unique design," one of the designers remarked. "Ms. Riddle, we might need some examine and analyze it," Ike explained to Nicole. "Sure, we'll discuss about it today. Don't hesitate to tell me if there's anything we need to improve upon. We'll get it done right away." Nicole looked at everyone with nothing but sincerity in her eyes. Everyone nodded before they began their discussion with their eyes on the screen. With some of them expounding upon the areas that needed improvement, Nicole immediately arranged for one of the engineers to fix the issues that were mentioned while she took the lead directing the process. Harvey found a chair and took a seat as he watched Nicole giving instructions to the group of engineers. The meeting room was busy, and he felt that he was not a part of it. Realizing that he was not needed there, he went out to get a breath of fresh air. As he sat on bar stool, drinking coffee, a figure appeared out of nowhere and came up to him. "Harvey, you're drinking coffee again?" Kelly asked, having entered the lounge and seen him staring into space by himself. Harvey turned to her. "Are you on a break?" "Yeah, and is Ms. Riddle still working with Mr. Ike in the development department?" Kelly asked. "Yeah, they're still busy," Harvey responded without a hint of emotion on his face. "Harvey, why do I feel like you're in a rather bad mood today?" Kelly blinked at him. "Is that so?" "Perhaps it's because it was too noisy in the meeting room," Harvey said, unable to bring himself to be happy. "Wow, even you've had enough, huh?" Kelly observed. The meeting must have been really noisy then, right? Noisy would be an understatement. It felt like there was a hive of bees buzzing around my ear. Harvey shook his head and took another sip from his cup. Well, of course. It's a major project, and that's why everyone wants to have the best solution. Enjoy your break, I'm heading back in. Harvey placed his cup down and bade her farewell before making his way back to the development department. The moment he swung the door to the meeting room open, he saw Ike talking to Nicole at a corner. Harvey frowned as he thought, I just went out for a cup of coffee and Ike has already glued himself to Nicole. Seems like I can't leave them alone at all. Hey, what are you talking about? Harvey stood in between them and asked. Nicole and Ike turned back to Harvey. Where did you go? I went to grab some coffee. Do you want some? Harvey looked at Nicole. He was confused and thought that she was upset with him for not bringing her a mug. No, I needed your help, but it's done and dealt with now. Nicole responded and continued her discussion with Ike as they stared at the screen. Ms. Riddle, even the best companies in the market are using 5-nanometer chips, so I think we should give the 4-nanometer chip a shot. Ike looked at her with utmost seriousness. Nicole shot him a glance before turning her gaze back to the screen as she pondered. After some time, she responded, we can try. If we succeed, it'll be a huge breakthrough. Yeah. Ike's eyes lit up, brimming with confidence. But we're not capable of producing a 4-nanometer chip just yet, one of the engineers interrupted the moment he overheard their conversation. I know, but we should give it a try. That way, we can increase the performance of this chip exponentially. Nicole argued, believing that her creation was the best. At the very least, it had to be better than the chip displayed in the technology exhibition, and so, she insisted on using the 4-nanometer chip. The engineers fell silent after hearing Nicole's suggestion. They thought that the 5-nanometer chips were already considered to be state-of-the-art, and that to produce a 4-nanometer chip would be an insurmountable challenge. They were not ready to be the first ones to fail, and they did not know why Nicole would wish to risk it. Nicole spoke when she saw that everyone was objecting to her idea. Quiet down, everybody. I know you're all professionals here and you're all having a hard time understanding our perspective. You're probably thinking, why don't we just use the certified 5-nanometer chip? Why are we venturing into the unfamiliar territory by trying to produce a 4-nanometer chip? Am I right? Yeah, we don't know why we're taking on the 4-nanometer chip challenge. The 5-nanometer version already suffices, so to use a 4-nanometer chip for this purpose is completely unnecessary, a middle-aged engineer contended. That's right. I think the 5-nanometer chip is much more reliable and I don't think I'll agree with the use of the 4-nanometer chips. Nicole looked at them and listened to their views calmly. Ike attempted to reason with them, but the stubborn engineers disagreed nonetheless. I understand where you're coming from, Nicole said. Actually, if you think about it logically, you're right. Indeed, the 5-nanometer production technology is good enough, and their company is definitely going to be using the 5-nanometer technology, without a doubt. However, what I'm trying to say is that their chip is second to ours, which is why, while the 5-nanometer chip is good enough for them, our chip needs to be better than theirs. The 5-nanometer technology won't be able to showcase the chip's full potential, and that's why Ike and I want to take a leap of faith and give it a shot, she finished. We understand where you're coming from too, Ms. Riddle. Everyone knows that you're the one who came up with this chip, and that is why you wish to bring it to its full potential. Unfortunately, our experience is telling us that the 5-nanometer technology is the safest bet. It has the highest rate of success too, which is why we find the 4-nanometer technology really risky, a determined engineer explained as he looked at her. Since you're all insisting on the use of the 5-nanometer technology, there's only one option left. Nicole turned to Ike. Everyone exchanged looks as no one understood what she meant. What option? Nicole looked at them and responded, you'll use the 5-nanometer technology, and I'll get a few people to use the 4-nanometer technology. Then, we'll make a comparison. We'll use the production technology that is able to produce the most stable, reliable, and powerful chip. What do you think? The engineers started discussing among themselves, and soon after, one of them said, okay, that's the best way moving forward. I'm going to select a few of you now. Nicole looked around at the engineers. The few of you come over and team up with me. The rest of you can make your own arrangements, Nicole ordered. All right, they said. Nicole and her team members made their way to the development department with Ike following right behind as he wanted to be in a team with Nicole. Nicole turned around and looked at him. You have to stay in the development department and contact me if anything happens, all right? Okay. Ike said, reluctantly watching her leave as she had made her orders clear. Nicole took them to an office and said, thank you in advance for working with me for the next few days. Please contact each other whenever there are any developments and be sure to maintain close communication with one another. I hope that we can successfully produce a 4-nanometer chip. Yes, Miss Riddle, one of her engineers said. Clean the office today and get whatever you need from the equipment department. We shall begin tomorrow. Nicole instructed them and left thereafter. Once Nicole had returned to her office, Harvey said, Nicole, are you confident about producing the 4-nanometer chip? Nicole turned to him and replied, do you think I'm messing around? To create a 4-nanometer chip isn't a walk in the park. I need you to understand that if you've decided to develop one with them, it is going to be far from easy. Harvey stated, knowing how difficult it was to create a chip, and that it would be almost impossible to do so without a competent team. All of you think that it'd be an arduous task, but I really want to give it a shot. Nicole stared at him affirmatively. Harvey issued a sigh as he looked her in the eye. Fine. You have my support. Just come to me if you need anything. That's all I need to hear from you. Nicole smiled and gave him a glance before sitting down, wondering how she was going to kick the development process off tomorrow. On the other hand, Jared's plane was on a slow landing. After he had gotten off the plane, he went to the hospital at once. I've been gone for quite a while. I wonder how Grandpa is doing. He opened the door and walked in when he saw his grandfather having a meal. As soon as Mr. Johnston Sr. saw him, he asked, "You're back?" "Yeah." Jared nodded and took a seat beside Mr. Johnston Sr. "Grandpa, you look much better now, as compared to when I left." Jared smiled at him. "Yeah, I am feeling much stronger too. I've also been eating a lot more than I used to." Mr. Johnston Sr. laughed and looked at him. "Max, did the doctor come in today?" Jared looked at his aide and asked. "Yes, he said that Mr. Johnston Sr. is progressively getting better," Max reported. Jared nodded with satisfaction. Then, Mr. Johnston Sr. looked at Jared and asked, "Jared, how's the company doing now?" "Let me assure you that the operations have been running as smoothly as can be," Jared replied. "Okay. And what has Nicole been doing these days? I haven't seen her in a while now." Mr. Johnston Sr. asked, as he had suddenly thought of her. "She went abroad." "Abroad? What is she doing there? Did she leave because you drove her up the wall?" Mr. Johnston Sr. looked at Jared with his brows furrowed. "No, Mr. Harmon is working on a project there, so he asked her to help him out." Jared summarized the entire situation and told Mr. Johnston Sr. as he did not want him to worry about it. Mr. Johnston Sr. smiled when he heard that Mr. Harmon had invited Nicole over to help him out. "Even Mr. Harmon needs her help. It seems that my granddaughter-in-law is no ordinary person." Mr. Johnston Sr. smiled as he spoke highly of Nicole. "You should get some rest, Grandpa. I'm heading back to the office now." Jared bade him farewell and made a beeline for the exit. But just as he reached the door and was about to go out, Mr.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.